Yes, but it's not the same.
It won't be the same, so I'm going to have to start directing people over to it.
Okay, how do I get it to tell me what the...
Is it on your, all right, I see it.
Arrow? Are you in Manage Studio? You can go to a little arrow in the upper right.
I've got it. I'll start sending people over.
Okay, you're going to send people over?
Yeah, I'll change the other stuff as well. I'll change the Fiddle Club page, and I'll send out a quick email. And so you just go ahead and start stalling.
Get with it, Pete. Go. Don't talk.
I'm on it.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm just going to thank everybody for patience, and we'll get started now. Okay, so Pete's going to handle the tech side. I'm going to hang up on both Becky and Pete on my emergency phone calls, trying to get this running. And I'm going to start teaching the workshop. So let me just get the lights on now. And get my music glasses on. So thank you everyone for your patience as we get started with the Potomac Valley Scottish Fiddle Club October workshop. We had some unexpected technical issues, which we weren't able to resolve by 2:30. So sorry for your having to wait and make you wait. But this is October, and in Fiddle Club, that means it's time for our annual workshop on tunes that everybody should know. So we always try to do some really popular or tunes that are either popular or that really just should be in your repertoire if you haven't learned them yet. And I've got a bunch of those today. I've got a march and some reels, one strathspey, and a number of jigs this time. So I hope you enjoy it. Oh, it looks like we have some people here, at least a few, and I'm sorry for all of you who are joining late. Good thing about YouTube is that you can start it from the beginning anytime you join and get the whole workshop. So I'm going to teach you a very straightforward reel for the starters. This one is the Cockle Gatherer, a Gaelic mouth music tune. And it has a Gaelic title, Trúsach mí na Calican, which basically means I am gathering the cockles, rather than just a third person cockle gatherer as it is in English. So let me play the tune for you and we'll learn it. I see somebody in the chat is asking, what is a cockle anyway? Well, you've heard the song Cockles and Mussels, right? Cockles are shellfish. So it's a kind of shellfish. And I hope that that answers the question sufficiently. As you know from that song, Cockles and Mussels, alive, right? In the Celtic world, these are definitely known. These cockles and mussels. So, Cockle Gatherer is a mouth music tune in the key of G. Since it is mouth music, they didn't really care about what your bowing is. So, the rhythm of the tune fits the rhythm of the words rather than some kind of convenient bowing. So it's in the key of G, and let me just give you a tuning note A. And I will just check and make sure my instrument hasn't drifted. Touching it up there. All right, key of G. So it starts on G. There's no pickup note, and you just have right up the scale with some rhythm. So let's take a nice easy tempo for starters. Find that G note. Okay, I'm hoping you have that little bit. And if you're just joining us, you can rewind from the beginning if you need to have extra time with any of the bits that I'm teaching today. So we just had that first measure with a scale. The next measure starts the same way. And then it jumps up to a D note. And it goes up a gap scale. So up, skip the F sharp note, and head straight to the high G. So the last three notes there are. So the second measure put together is. So it's time to review the first measure. Luckily, we're here at the third measure, and it is exactly the same. So I am, in fact, going to go on and play you the third measure. Right up the scale, just as the first measure. And then the last part is a scale again. Starting on the D note, we go up the scale and back down. Skipping A and repeating G. So that's up the scale from D, down, skip, Okay, so I'm going to fix the light behind me just a sec. Let's see if that makes it a little easier to see. Let's try that. Okay, so again, the first part of the tune, we've been working on the first four measures. It's the scale from the note G. Second measure starts the same, up high. Third measure, like the first. And then a scale up and down from D. Skip the A. Let's do that. the first 4 bars of the tune, it's also the entire first half. We're halfway there. So let's learn the B part. The B part of the tune starts on a high G and goes down the scale. So like this. Just like that. That's the first measure. Okay, and the second bar starts on a C note, C natural. So if you're playing a fiddle, make sure it's the low second finger position. If you're not playing a fiddle, C natural, not C sharp. We're in the key of G here, C is not sharp. So the second measure climbs up the scale from C. Just ending up on the E note. All right, so second measure, third measure is the same as the first, so that gives us a chance to review the first measure. High G down the scale. And the fourth measure, same as the fourth measure of the A part. So it's that scale starting on the D note that goes up and then down. Skipping the A note. All right, so here is the second part of the Cockle Gatherer put together, 4 bars. High G to start, down the scale. C, up the scale. Same as the first time. Ending bar starts on D. Again. All right, so I'm going to put together the entire tune. Let me just do a little adjustment of the camera there. Let's try that. All right, so I'm going to do the tune, and you'll remember it started on G and up scale. Each part is 4 bars. Each part repeats. Each part has internal measures that repeat. 1 and 3 are the same in both cases. The ending bar, bar 4, of both phrases is the same. speed it up a little bit more, but before I do that, I'm going to address something that maybe some of you have already noticed. Yeah, if you just play these each note with one bow stroke, if you're playing a bowed instrument like I am, your bow is going to change direction at the top of each phrase. This goes against everything your violin teacher ever told you to do about, being consistent with bowing. In this kind of tune, it doesn't matter. It all works out. You can bow it almost equally well either direction, so it doesn't really matter which direction your bow is going. If it's bothering you and you want it to be consistent, the place that I would put in a slur in order to start the phrase consistently down bow, I would place the slur in this position. So far no slur. Right here. So I would slur the first two. And then you're ready to start the phrase consistently. If you miss that, it doesn't really matter, so don't sweat it. Let's play the whole tune again, starting around that tempo, and we'll crank it up a little bit closer to dancing tempo. So that's the Cockle Gatherer, a mouth music or push to bail mouth music reel. I don't happen to know the words for this one, but it's certainly singable. And I hope you enjoyed that too. We're going to learn another one by ear. This one's been very popular. It's a more recent composition, and it's one of the jigs that I've chosen for this workshop of tunes that everyone should know. So this one appears in various places with various spellings, variations on the name. It's the Kerfunten Jig, sometimes just known as Kerfunten. Sometimes the T gets replaced with a K, Kerfunken. So I've done a bit of research into this to try to puzzle out why is it known under these different names. And here's what I found out. This tune is very popular because there's this wonderful recording of it by Martin Hayes. Martin also plays it's in his repertoire, so he performs it fairly often, and he's taught it at different camps and workshops too. So a lot of people learned Martin's way of doing it, and I'm not sure if he actually changed the name or if people at those workshops reinterpreted the name, but he likes to add a little bit of, it's not quite syncopation. He ties some of the notes so that you don't necessarily get a beat on the downbeat in this tune the way Martin plays it. So I think Martin's version tends to be known more as Kerfunten, but the tune was not written by Martin Hayes. It was written by Hammy Hamilton, and he said that he wrote this tune and named it for a little town or village in Brittany. The town in Brittany is right next to the town of Kemper, and the town is spelled Kerfeunteun, and the second part of it, fountain, is what it sounds like. It means fountain, and the car part is similar to caer in Welsh, so it's a Brittonic origin, and it means a town. So it's the town of the fountain is the name of this, the meaning of the name of the town after which this jig is named. So it's the Kerfunten Jig, and here's how it sounds. All right, so I put a little bit of the Martin Hayes ties in there just so you can hear how it affects the lilt tune. This tune is a jig in D, and the pickup note. So find that note. All right, and let's play the beginning of the tune with the pickup note. So starting on an F sharp and right down the scale. The next measure is a scale directly up the scale from F sharp in the key of D. So F sharp and C sharp in this key. So let's put two measures together. Again. All right, here's the next measure. So starting on the A note, going to the B. And we're down the scale but skipping G. So there's a little hole there. B, A, skip G, F. measure. All right, fourth measure of the phrase, long. And that last part is just the turnaround so you can start the phrase again. All right, I'd like to put the 4-bar phrase together. Here's the pickup note. Down the scale. Up the scale. Let's repeat that. One more time. All right. Now, our next phrase starts the very same way. It's the same for 3 measures with 1 different measure at the end. So bar 4 at the end is different. So here's how it goes. Up that scale. The scale with the gap. And the ending. This is the new part. So instead of hanging on E like the first one does with the turnaround, that's the first ending. The second time it ends. So it's finding a way to make it back to the D note and resolve. So here is the second phrase with its resolution. And one more time on that. All right, 8 bars, the entire A part put together. Here's how it sounds. we're going to be heading up high for a while. So to get there, we ended down here low. Well, we're going to play arpeggio notes. We ended here. We're going to play F sharp A. So our first real note of the second part is that high D, but to get there, we play our way through the arpeggio with F sharp and A. So up the scale. That's the first measure of the second part. Okay, so next, we just had one long note and then 3 notes up the scale. Next measure is also a long note and then 3 notes. In this case, we want to end right back where we started, so we just did B, A, B, right back to where you started. So the 2 measures together. Again. All right, so next, bar 3, same as bar 1. And here's how you end the phrase. I'm going to put the 4-bar phrase together, except I'm going to start at the end of the previous part so that you can hear how that transition happens from the D note. Same thing, I'm giving you an entire full beat, dotted quarters worth, 3/8 notes of pickup so that I can start with the D from the previous phrase. All right, the transition to the second phrase. Second phrase starts the same way with that. But I want to give you the transition between the 2 phrases. Is this jig, one of the interesting things about it is the transitions, which are not just, a standard pickup note. Instead, it kind of carries the phrase through so that you get something melodic connecting the phrases together. So we just had the end of phrase. So right in rhythm. First phrase. So I'm adding F sharp E right down to the beginning of the phrase again. The ending is the same as the ending of the A part. Oh no, it's a little different. Sorry, there's a little twist. Instead of the first part ended. Well, we have a big change for the second part, which is instead of playing a B note, play a D note. Sorry, my mistake in telling you that it was going to be the same. It's not the same. It's just one note different, but that makes it more reasonable. because it gives you the arpeggio notes rather than just a scale with a hole in it. So that second 4-bar phrase, I'm going to play it without the pickup notes this time. Same thing. So here's the entire B part of this tune, Kerfunten. So I'm ready to go back to the beginning and play the entire tune, putting it all together. Are you? Great, let's do it. Up the scale. throttle. I'm going to show you where Martin Hayes ties are the things that give it that funk that people talk about when they change the name. So those would be here. So here in this third bar of the phrase, you just tie together the two B notes. So instead, right over the beat note. And again, when it comes up in the second half of the phrase, same thing, same tie. The tie in the second part right there. So you have two F sharp notes together, so you just tie them together. And no other particular ties there, although if you wanted to do that one, I wouldn't stop you. It's perfectly parallel with where we put the tie before. So those are the potential ties if you want to sort of jazz up the tune a little bit. It does commonly get played with them, so if you want to do that, totally fine. If you don't want to do that, that's also perfectly fine because it's a great tune. Either way. All right, let's play it through a few times. I might try it with the ties sometimes and sometimes without. I'm just going to make one little note. On the sheet music, on the printed music, of course, this is one of the tunes I'm teaching in detail by ear. But if you are looking at the sheet music, you might find that I have kind of finessed how I did the transitional pickup rhythm. So I wrote it as 2/16 notes just because it was convenient to fit in two repeated phrases that way instead of putting on a second ending. So I've done that just to tidy up the visual, but you do not really want to play the pickups to the second note, second phrase, the second part of the tune, D part, as 16th notes. They're eighth notes. They're played as eighth notes. They fit right into the triplet rhythm of the jig, but I did not, in fact, write them that way. So now you know the record has been corrected. Are you up for one more tune by ear? I hope that you are. And, oh no, I did not bring my visual aid with me for this tune. All right, we're going to learn the new land, and I am going to go quickly to the other room and grab the book with pictures that I wanted to show you. So hang on just a second. Well, what do you know? I did bring it here to this room. I just set it out of reach. Actually, I put it on a table that was within reach, and then I moved the table out of reach. Right. So the New Land is a tune by Otis Thomas. Otis Thomas is a Cape Breton musician, and he's a wonderful musician and instrument maker. He's most famous as an instrument maker. He makes guitars and mandolins and violins and harps, and this is his book, the Fiddle Tree, and this book is part tune book and part history of his instrument making and sort of his philosophy of music and instrument making and life. It's got a lot of pictures, for example, of people playing instruments that he has made. It's got pictures of how he makes the instruments in some detail, so things like that. He describes how he went from the tree, that tree on the cover, to instruments made out of the wood, and a lot of his philosophy of music and everything in there. But one of Otis's most famous tunes of all, he has written a number of really interesting and amazing tunes. But one of his best known is called The New Land. And a long time ago, when Otis first moved to Cape Breton, there's a picture of Otis and his family a long time ago, he bought a new piece of land around St. Anne's Bay. And those of you who know that I go to Cape Breton regularly know that I go to that area. So Otis is one of my Cape Breton neighbors. So when I'm in Cape Breton, I often see him or his wife. And anyway, let me tell you what Otis says about this tune. So he says that he came to Cape Breton in 1975. Soon after, he met his wife, Deanie, and they bought a piece of land in the hills above St. Anne's Bay, where they still live. And The New Land was written shortly after putting down roots in Cape Breton. And it marks his coming of age, a nostalgic glance at early life left behind, combined with the boundless horizons and promise, as well as the insecurities and uncertainties about the possibilities opening up ahead. I love that he tells you that about his tune, because you can kind of hear that when you listen to the tune. Here's The New Land by Otis Thomas. So it is in the key of F, but with considerable D minor parts in it. And I need to check one thing, which is, I should have written the sheet music that is printed with repeat signs. So we'll fix that as we go along. I'll teach it with repeats, and I'll fix that and post that at the Fiddle Club website for you to have a corrected version. All right, it is in the key of F, and it starts right on an F. Let's review the F scale just to get in the right mood for this. F natural. B is flat. C is natural. And F is natural. It's in waltz time, 3/4 time. You can play it as a waltz. You can also play it as a slow air, your choice. Pickup note for the next phrase is a D. So that's really a lot of up and down the F scale, but skipping the B flat in this case. So 4 bars, phrase put together. All right. So there's one more thing I want to add, which is a little turnaround at the end of the phrase. It carries it on to the next phrase, but I'm going to tack it on because of the way the next phrase starts. So we just had, and we add, so a G note going back up, and then a triplet going back down to F. So it's just a little decoration to bring us back to F, but it moves it along and propels it forward. So the 4-bar phrase with the turnaround. All right, next phrase starts on a B flat, and it goes down the scale. And goes up. So that's kind of a snap rhythm in waltz time, which is not that snappy. It's just an 1/8 and a dotted quarter, B flat to D. And back down the same. Ending on G. The second phrase also has a little turnaround. Same rhythm, same idea, moved 1 note up the scale. So dotted quarter G, an 1/8 note on the A, and then a triplet. E flat A G. So here's the second phrase, the second 4-bar phrase put together. Move on to the next phrase. Since this is our third tune by ear, and I tend to make this one a little more of a challenge and move it along just a little faster. So third phrase, it's similar to the first phrase in that it is key of F. However, instead of just sitting there in key of F, it is moving it along, propelling it to a new place. So instead of it, so let's learn that. It's the arpeggio notes in the key of F, which are A, F, C, F, A. And moving right along, up to the high, climbing right up from F to a high A. So this 4-bar phrase. And I'm going to add a little bit more. It's the transition to the next phrase, but I'm going to tack it on so that we can hear how it fits. One more time with that. And the ending. Right down the scale. And then a snap, multi-time snap, so not so fast, from G to E. And the ending, 2 long D notes, both dotted half notes, sorry. Again. So, second 8-bar phrase of the A part. Again. Okay, I'm going to put together the entire, it's 16 bars long, and it repeats. going to move on to the second part, the B part of this tune, the new land. Starting up high, and it has a bunch of scale passages. This is one of the most brilliant parts of the tune. I just love how it moves. So that's right up, down, then down the scale. B flat, remember. And here's sort of an echo down below. It's not quite the same, but it's a similar pattern. Climbs the scale this time. The third phrase, similar pattern, it's now starting on the G note. Again, all scale work. The fourth phrase feels very similar, and there's a very common error that most people do when they play it of imitating the same scale pattern. Otis does not do directly the scale pattern change, and it makes a bit of difference. F instead of going to a G. All right, that pattern continues now with the F scale pattern up high. And the last one of this pattern, starting on a G note, and this one is scalar, down, then up, then down. Except that note, which is a D. And the ending. So a series of snaps. And then the next one. So both of them are arpeggio notes. Arpeggio of F with the first two waltz time snap rhythm. And then a C arpeggio, first two snap rhythm waltz time. And the end. Long D notes. B part is this series of descending scale patterns with an echo down below that's not quite the same. And then here's where the descending part comes, because this one is now on a G. The variant on F. D note. All put together. the whole tune. So here's the whole tune put together. Oops. Sorry, my charger just fell out of the computer. Let's put it back in. Being difficult here. Why, there we go. All right. So the entire tune, the new land, starting with a low F and a rising figure. And that is the new land. I'm just going to note one thing, which is that for the chords in this piece in our Fiddle Club music, I used Bill Matheson's chords rather than Otis's chords. There's nothing wrong with Otis's chords. They're great. They have a little more movement, whereas Bill Matheson's chords stick with the same chord for longer. So it's more a matter of what's your taste. Otis's tune, The New Land, was recorded by the Celtic group Touchstone way back in the early days of the sort of Celtic folk music craze. And so we're talking in the early 1980s that this was recorded. And I believe Touchstone uses chords very similar to these rather than a different kind. All right, well, if you have the sheet music handy, then I'm going to ask you to take a look at that so that we can move more quickly through the remaining tunes in this selection of tunes everyone should know. On page 1, we're in book 29. Can you believe it? Fiddle Club is we've been going for 29 years. So we've had to do it in this sort of crazy online way in recent times. But we are going to be working on our way back to some in-person workshops. And we're going to continue to offer a streaming version of the workshops nonetheless, even when we are meeting in person, so that Fiddle Club members who live farther away or can't make the workshop or just want to review the tunes will have an opportunity to do so just by going to our YouTube channel. So online workshops won't disappear, but we will eventually get our way back to some live meetings, which is definitely more fun when it comes to jamming. So on page 1 of our sheet music, we have the Glasgow City Police Pipers. Also, this tune is sometimes known as the Glasgow City Police Pipe Band. It's by Pipe Major Donald McLeod. Now, he's a famous one. He's written lots and lots of tunes. This particular march is so well known that I actually have a hard time. I was wondering when I put it in there, it's like, why haven't we had this one in Fiddle Club before? But I think the reason is that despite that it's quite popular, it's not printed in very many places, which is true of a lot of the Donald McLeod tunes. Donald McLeod published his own tune books, and of course they're a great source of his tunes, but a lot of his tunes are not published very many other places, with a few exceptions. So unless you have those tune books, it might be a little hard to find a definitive version of the Donald McLeod tune. So here it is. So 4-part pipe march in 6/8 can be interpreted as a jig. I've seen it done as a jig as well. But it certainly sounds good with those dottings. So that highly pointed styling. Couple of things I want to note about this. There is a variant of the 4th part that's quite popular, and it sounds like this. I'm just going to play that last part over again. So that variant with the hemiola, that's what that part is in the 4th bar. I don't think he wrote it that way, but it's a popular variant, so I want you to be aware of it. I'm going to teach it the standard way, and if you want to put that variation in, cool, that's fine with me. All right, so let's play it a little slowly. Despite the fact that the 1st part and the 3rd part are quite similar, they are not the same. There's a few differences, and also the 2nd and 4th part, again, very similar, but they're not the same. So let's play, and I'll point out some of the differences. All right, always the phone rings during the workshop. So, I'm going to shut off the phone there. All right, so the differences in the A part and the C part. In the A part, a little snap. So the A part has that snap, and the C part has. So otherwise, very similar pattern, except the end of the phrase, the 4-bar end of the phrase, in the A part, versus the C part. So it's kind of continuing the rocking motion of the up to the high. In the B and D parts, they're the ones with the descending line in the high drone. So that is a little bit different in that was the B part. So here's how it goes in the descending line alone in the D part. That's different. And that's different. And again, it's different in the third phrase as well. So little differences that keep this tune interesting and lively and progressing. It's really striking when you play it on pipes because all those high A notes kind of disappear into the ether, and so you're left with these principal notes really standing out and being highlighted. So let's play Glasgow City Police Pipers again. this time with the special variant, the hemiola effect. I messed it up because I wasn't looking at the right page. All right, so that's Glasgow City Police Pipers. Let's go on to page 2. So on page 2, I put a strathspey. This one, you know, I looked for it in pipe books and I couldn't find it, but that just might mean that I don't have the right pipe books. But it seems to me that it's a pipe tune. However, it is it's one that I hear a lot. It's not one that I've seen printed a lot. So luckily, one of our great tune transcribers of our time, Paul Cranford, has transcribed this tune. And so, although I've not found it in fiddle, historic fiddle tune books or in any of the pipe books that I have, I've heard it many, many times. It's called Auld Reekie. Auld Reekie. Auld Reekie is a nickname for Edinburgh. So it refers to reek in a Scottish tradition is like smoking, as in chimneys smoke. So it's referring to the fact that Edinburgh back in the day would have lots of fires in the chimneys, keeping the place warm. And so at times this sort of smoke cloud would settle over the city. And that's how it got its nickname. I'd say it's not nearly as reeky now. And by the way, that reek, that's a word in Scots English that comes from the Scandinavian roots, and that's the Scandinavian word for smoke. It's the same root word that's in the capital of Iceland, Reykjavik, which just means they're in that case they're referring to the smoke from the volcano that's just outside the city, but that's the same word root. So Auld Reekie strathspey. Here's how it goes. Okay, so let's play this one slowly. It's in the key of A, and but just like the pipes play with the key of A mixolydian, a modal version of the key of A, in which all the G's are natural. So you will not find a G sharp in this tune. Now I have chorded it in a modal fashion. There are 2 places where I might consider putting in an E chord instead of the G chord that I wrote. I'll tell you about those later. But let's play through at a moderate speed. is where you have. I've put it with an A chord, an A G A ending, but you could very well do with a E A on the ending, and that works for both the A part and the B part. Those are the only two places that I might change out the G chord and put an E in place. All right, let's play this through just a couple times at more normal speed for like a dance stress bay. All right, so I played it twice through. The first time was a little bit more as a 2-beat Strathspey bay. The second time a little bit more as a 4-beat Strathspey bay, a little more Highland styling. So you can do what you want with it. Old Wiki and a traditional Strathspey bay. Next tune on page 2 is the Black Bear. This one, oh my, this is well known. I've given you the Scots Guards versions because this is one of the signature tunes of the Scots Guards. They have, in addition to many tunes that the Scots Guards piping band plays, there's a few that are important to the Scots Guards regiment that are, that have regimental uses, signaling various things. This is one of them. So it would be played. It would have been played many, many times, huge number of times by Scots Guards pipers. So Black Bear. There are non-piping versions of this tune. I happen to like this piping version. It's normally played in AABA format, so I've written that out so that you don't have to do a DS and a Fine thing. So I've just written out the extra B part at the end of the tune in our sheet music. Okay, I think there's a couple errors here, so I'm not gonna say anything about them until I have a chance to check what it says in the original source. So I will check that and fix that. But let's play it now. I'm going to sort of correct to what I think is the correct way as I teach it slowly. I have put together. Well, when I played it, I on the repeat of the A part, I did a bit of a dotted tempo. I've marked it as a hornpipe because it has hornpipe characteristics, and the piping version is definitely quite dotted. I feel it's a little more meant to be dotted than played straight. All right, a little faster. And that is the Blackberry. On page 3, we have the new land, which we did by ear, and the cavers of Kirkcudbright. Now let me spell that out for you. It's spelled Kirkcudbright. So it looks like Kirkcudbright. It's not pronounced that way. Kirkcudbright. Kirkcudbright. The cavers of Kirkcudbright. Now, I do not know. Is it people whose names are the cavers? That's their last name, or are there people going and exploring caves in Kirkcudbright? I don't know the answer to that one. So you just take it however you want it. If somebody actually knows the correct thing, you can let me know. It was composed by Mike Voss, or Vass. I'm not sure how he pronounces it. This is one of those tunes where, just like the Kerfunten that got popularized with Martin Hayes' version that has the ties over the beats, this one was written specifically with those ties meant to be in. In fact, there are transcriptions of it with all kinds of weird things where people are trying to notate the ties and didn't quite get how that worked. So let me play it for you, and then we'll take it slowly, and you can work on those ties. Oh boy, I always have one of these moments. Everybody who's been in Fiddle Club for a long time knows that there's always one where I'm like, partway through. So let me try this again. Let's see if I can find my rhythm. Nice circulation where it wants to go back and be played again. So either that or you go into some other jig on key or F. Or maybe even change keys. All right, let's play it. Let's slow it down. I do not mind if you take the ties out for learning purposes. That certainly helps you figure out how it works and then work in the ties later after you've practiced a bit. So that's one that's been quite popular at various sessions. One of those fancy jigs that why not know a few fancy jigs, right? Let's see. Last one that we haven't learned yet is the Blackberry Festival Footrace. So kind of like the Kerfunten Jig gets associated with Martin Hayes, this one gets associated with Hanukkah Castle because she really likes it and she's taught it at a bunch of places. And so much so that some people think it's one that she wrote. Now, she writes lots of cool tunes, but she didn't write this one. This one was written by David Fisher. It's exactly the kind of tune she likes, though, so I can see why people would think that it's hers, especially since she plays it a lot and teaches it. So here's the Blackberry Festival Footrace. I do not know where this Blackberry Festival is, but it sounds like it might have been interesting. Here's the part that I'm going to mess up. Yep. Boy, that really was bad. Let's play it slowly, and then by the time we get to the end, I'll be able to play it fast enough, right? I haven't played this in public since July, so sorry. All right. Slower. See, little practice does help. After all, let's play through those ear tunes by once again before we conclude the workshop. And I'm just going to add a few little housekeeping notes. This is the beginning of the Scottish Fiddle Club year. So if you want to be a member of the Potomac Valley Scottish Fiddle Club and receive this music regularly, please do join us. And that can information about joining the Potomac Valley Scottish Fiddle Club is at potomacvalleyscottishfiddle.org. Just go ahead right there and you can click on the button that says membership and find out about how to join. The other thing that you can do is join us later on. This is our October meeting, which is the beginning of our Fiddle Club year, which runs more or less with the school year from October through May that we have workshops. So the October meeting is when we traditionally have our annual general meeting of membership. We will be having that via Zoom. And those Zoom links were sent out to everybody who is currently a member or a member from last year. So please join us on Zoom. That will be shortly after we conclude this workshop, about 15 minutes after we conclude this workshop. I will announce it. And Furthermore, later on tonight, we will have a Zoom jam. The Zoom jam starts after a dinner break. So come and join us for the Zoom jam. And that link was also sent to all the Fiddle Club members in an email. So look for that Fiddle Club email, find your links, and join us for the annual general meeting where we need to elect officers and a little bit of discussion. The jam will also be on YouTube. Yes, so you can join via Zoom or play along on YouTube. And we welcome people suggesting what tunes to be played during this Zoom jam. So name your favorite tunes. Send us notice of that. All right, we're going to play the Kerfunten Jig. Our other ear tune was the Cockle Gatherer. The New Land. The New Land. That is our tunes for this month of October 2021. Thank you for joining me for the Potomac Valley Scottish Fiddle Club monthly workshop. I hope you enjoyed this music, and see you at the meeting, and see you at the jam, and see you next month on second Sunday for another Fiddle Club workshop. Take care.